Hello? Hello?
Hello, is this Clayton?
Hello?
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 Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, I can hear you. I thought that's what the mic was for.
No,
I
nothing
didn't think
crazy.
you'd hear much, but
light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
But yeah, apparently he's related to me. And then their lead, Grinheim. I think it's supposed to be
Grindheim. Yeah,
Grinheim. I played juniors against him for years.
Oh yeah.
So can't say I've ever played Corey Dropkin though.
No.
So Dropkin is out of Duluth?
The States, I know that. That's
Duluth?
As far as I'm
gonna try and find out if that's just the Duluth Curling Club or...
Yeah. I'm supposed to be doing color, but I've done no research.
It's fine.
No problem at all.
Not going to miss many of those. So Team Mooibroek puts up a 2 here in the second end.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown, the largest international curling event in Canada this season. We're so glad you decided to join us to watch some of the top teams from around the world participate in this event. My name is Jesse Hamonic, and I'm the Vice President and Country Head of Nutrien Ag Solutions Canada. Like farming, curling brings our communities together and Nutrien Ag Solutions is committed to promoting the diversity of sport within the communities where we work and live. We're so grateful to the Western Showdown team for allowing us to partner with them to bring you this event, and I want to wish you all, the teams, a safe and successful event.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Curling Showdown. We're so glad you've decided to join us to come see some of the world's best curlers participate in this event. My name is Jim Grundy. I'm the branch director for RBC Dominion Securities here in Swift Current. Our branch is not only a huge fan and support of curling in our community, we're also proud to support the 2023 Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Curling Showdown, as RBC is committed to working with our community to promote and celebrate vibrancy in sport in the community in which we live. Thank you to everyone on the organizing committee for putting this great event together, and on behalf of RBC Dominion Securities, enjoy the tournament.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
All right, welcome back to the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown quarterfinal here. Schwaller versus Mooibroek. Team Yannick Schwaller here. The Red Stones trying to draw behind cover, it looks like.
Yeah, just very typical setup here. Try to play to the wings, use it as you can. You just gave up a 2. You want to get a 2 right back.
Freddie Thompson and Matt Sussman with you tonight. Swift Current, Saskatchewan is the place. Two big teams for sure. Schwaller obviously internationally, but Mooibroek is a up-and-coming name in Canadian curling. Good chance to prove themselves at this stage.
Yeah, and they've played Schwaller earlier this weekend, and they've already matched their point total in the first game when they lost 6-2. So you don't get a lot of opportunities for getting a team a second time in a weekend, but they certainly get that here, and they're so far looking pretty sharp.
Pretty solid hit and roll there from Nathan Steele. And you can see right away Yannick just kneels down in front of it, just gets the right angle to try to make this go away. And Michel, another guy who can play quite a bit of weight.
Just gets the 1, leaves a corner. So he's got 2 corners.
Not bad. So the call here is just the guard.
overcurls a little bit, but it's going to be hard to get all three at that angle. So it's a little enticing. Just go right at
the
the
sweepers were
stones of the house
anticipating
here.
it was going to be that heavy. Excited to come in there and get a piece of that, Matt? Is that the call here?
Certainly looks like it. You got enough of that stone to see and maybe get a really good roll over to the left side. Just going crazy on this one.
Rock.
Piece.
Yeah. A good sweep, though. Really brought that over. But now what? This is looking awfully nice for yellow up the middle of the ice. So we approach Scott Mitchell's first here.
This is again one of those situations. You want to have that rock exactly in the right spot, but the more you put in there, it's harder to find a perfect spot where they can't just get a double or maybe a triple. But if they can get a little bit of an overlap on that guard, they may be able to protect what they have.
Now this nice solid top 8 there. And obviously the call is to rip them here. Our score bug here has a 1-1 score, but is in fact 2-1, at least according to the scoreboard in the second end for Team Mooibroek currently. Schwaller with a chance here to try to get a couple. Try to retake the lead after the first end. Got to make some granite fly though first. Big sweep to bring this one in. Not the worst result.
You got 2. The bad news is he left a center, but it's his own color. And Mooibroek looked like to stay aggressive and try to re-control that center of the house again.
Third Scott Mitchell again here. Gonna wrap it around, eh?
That's certainly the goal. I think they certainly want it further under than the last time.
Nice judge from the sweepers. Maybe just a slightly deeper, but the line was pretty good. And yeah, maybe just something soft, just come in there and maybe you could stick a red rock in a difficult location, considering you have 2 yellows behind the tee line.
Absolutely. Now all of a sudden you have a wall. It might be an opportunity. I think they were focused on just trying to clear as much as they could, but it's probably time to change your strategy here and start figuring out where you can put some rocks where they can't escape.
Currently a decent amount of curl here in Swift Current. I'm seeing that games have been watching. So I mean, this is a Looks like you can get a pretty thick part of this yellow rock and maybe get just a nice little roll, but we'll see how much exactly they want. Might be nice just to sort of chisel it sideways and almost end up frozen on that yellow. That's just biting the button. A couple ways to make this near perfect. Yannick Schwaller makes lots of shots perfect, so we don't need to worry about that just yet. And the carve here from the Swiss team trying to bring this one in. What do you get off this yellow rock? Interesting. I don't think it's what he wanted, but it definitely makes it an intriguing spot for that red rock, because I don't think that is going to go anywhere for the rest of this end.
It's not. That's the best thing about it. The worst thing about it is that it's third shot. That's one of those you kind of look down there if you throw it and you're like, is that good? I don't know. Might be good.
No doubt.
We've all had many of those.
Yeah, if you've played the sport, you've had many. Mooibroek.
It's also a very, very tantalizing thing. What does Mooibroek do? How do they counter? Can they, play again a little bit of bump weight on the red, unlock it, or do you ignore it? And because you're sitting two.
You're bang on there, Matt. Just saying that Sam and Co are definitely playing a little bit more aggressive. This might be a good opportunity. Yeah, you're right, to just try to get one in there. It looks like maybe just the draw. Did you see anything else there that would indicate a different shot?
I did not.
If you're heavy, you end up just sort of chiseling off the red anyways, right? If you ever are a few feet, that might be a good plan B, but.
Right, that's a good, yeah. I think this is, again, one of those paths where you have a lot of good results no matter what happens.
I should be keening up here too. Lots of stones down this half of the sheet. Sam Mooibroek with the draw into the 4-foot here, it looks like. Try to sit 3. Will it just be a little bit over buried? Okay, that's an interesting spot as well. Makes lots of thinking time here needed for sure. Curious what you see. Obviously, we're at a certain disadvantage with the angles we have, but is there a way to get in there?
There might be. Again, you need full button. I think there's enough. You might need to use your own red to kind of bounce off, but they don't need shot right away. They have a setup shot to score. Run-ins eyeing a run-in. They're not the ones throwing it though.
It's tough when you've got 3 red rocks ready to go. Relatively easy distance. I know none of them are overly enticing yet, but just where that yellow rock is, that really was a really nice shot from Sam, because if it's ever over buried more, they could play off of their own, or they want to come that side for sure. You can just see the broom go down there from the shell, but
yeah, that shot really took away 2 different run-ins they could have done in retrospect.
Okay, so likely just to try to skinny that, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Matt, just maybe skinny that one, the top 8 rock. Just try to get as much of that red as you can. And, with a bit of speed, see what Benoit Schwartz can pull out off of it. hitting a stone right on the tee line. Big scrub to try to get this one over, and it looks like it'll be just off nose. And that is not a great result, because now Sam Mooibroek can come down, knock that out, could even get a nice friendly roll, and now Schwartz will have to potentially hit or draw against 3.
Yeah, interesting choice. I think they felt good about it. I don't think a lot of other teams would have played nearly as much weight on that. They would have liked to play a little more down, could have gotten a little more curl and get in the roll. They were going for probably getting shot right away, rolling as much as they could, and now they're not going to have an easy one for their last.
Good point. So Sam Mooibroek up 2-1 here. His last in the third end with current. The roll will be key here. Calling it a little tight. That might be just friendly enough of a roll to make this an interesting shot for Benoit Schwartz, who right away, Yannick, you just see puts the broom down. You just have to kind of just come through that port and just, you know, likely have to tap that yellow rock back a little bit, but that's really your only option here unless you see something else, Matt.
And whatever it is, it's against 3. I think that shot you were just indicating is probably the one. It looks like shot stone's about half buried. If you throw maybe back 4 at it, you'll get enough curl to bump it and sit around and catch the button. Otherwise, yeah, you don't want to run in one of those reds and accidentally give up 3 here. And you'd certainly, I think you want to throw a shot that could minimize the damage even if you don't get the point.
Also not, you know, you're going to throw on this half of the sheet when, you know, it feels like the last, well, it feels like maybe the last dozen rocks have come down this half. So throwing into it a little bit, but we'll see. Benoit Schwartz, as you mentioned earlier in this broadcast, Matt, is an excellent at draws. This will be right up his alley in terms of bailing out his team and trying to either minimize the damage or potentially score. It's not out of the realm of possibility. You move that one back, and it seems like with that line, as they just moved the line outside, commentators first, that they want to maybe just tap that yellow back just slightly, just enough to try to get that point.
If anyone can do it, the guy in the hat can.
Benoit Schwartz, final stone in the third end here. Tight out of his hand after they called that extra line. It's going to be a sweeper shot for sure. Weight looks pretty good. You got to carve it over.
Whoa.
Excellent sweep to make that shot, but it's exactly easy to tell on broadcast. Wow, what a great final shot. A great attempt at shooting against 3. We'll be right back.
I've been farming on my own right for 40 years now, I think. It's a very wholesome enterprise. You have very, very busy periods when you have to go hard. So many of our windows are so tight that you just can't afford to miss a couple days seeding.
But a producer places their trust in us that when it's time
for them to be able to make their living, we're going to be there. That's a tremendous responsibility that is not a one-day-a-year thing, right? In order to actually deliver on that, you have to build your processes and you have to build your team and you have to have a mindset of operational excellence, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And it's our job to make sure that they don't go wrong. Or if they do go wrong, that we can fix it before it affects our customer.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
And welcome back to quarterfinal action here at the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown. And Mooibroek posting that single point there, stealing that point after the Benoit Schwartz team shot, really to try to get to as much of that stone as they possibly could in the 4-foot. Wasn't enough. And now they're down by 2. With a bit of work to do for sure.
Absolutely. And that it starts, I think, with that one shot. They have to be kind of happy that it was 1 and not 2 or 3. Now I'm going to correct myself earlier when I said Schwaller beat him 6-2. I had that backwards. It was actually Mooibroek who beat him 6-2. In fact, Mooibroek, it was an A event qualifier. They haven't lost. They've played 3 games, won them all. And so now it makes a whole lot of sense at how good they're playing. Schwaller was one of the last teams in. They came through the C event, and so it's just, you know, with all that being said, they're only down 2, and again, scoring a 2 is going to go a long way to bringing this game back under control.
As you mentioned, Matt, Mooibroek, 3 wins over Sturmey, Schwaller, and Brunner going into this one. 8-3, 6-2, and 6-5. And now it just kind of comes down to a bit of game management when you're up at this point against a team like this. You know, how much can you capitalize on that? And this house certainly looks like Mooibroek is attempting to do just that.
Yeah, you're taking the big weight shot out of their hands, and you're making them try to play soft and get some rocks in play. And if you're a team that is comfortable with that, then you're happy with how this is going.
Nice little shot there just to poke that yellow one out and make it a bit exposed. Make Mooibroek chase that red stone. Nathan Steele. They brought that rock over. They're kind of looked like it was holding out there a little bit, but brought it right over center line real comfortably. And Michel.
Yeah, again, is that good?
Yeah, you kind of see where Sam's going with that thought for sure. Yeah, is that helping them when it's staggered that low too? Let's see what they can get out of Scott Mitchell. They're third. Big weight it is. Oh, that is a great line call from Sam Mooibroek there. Great line call. Totally earned sitting 2, potentially 3.
Yeah, very confident call as well. That was, again, while we're sitting here trying to figure out, are they in trouble now? They just decided, well, there's 2 redstones in play. They won't count. They're not in play. And, yeah, like you said, probably sitting at least 2, maybe 3.
And that's a real tempting yellow rock. The shooter, or my apologies, the rock that they ran back. This, as you can see, always tough to tell exactly how centered these cameras are. But it looks pretty close. Just a little bit poking out on the center line side. And they're going to go after it. Yannick Schwaller's first here in the 4th end. Nice tidy little hit and roll is the goal. Calling it tight, but there's definitely a little bit of room. See how much it's moving there. Well, that is pretty good.
Absolutely. Now, probably more in control than they were before. Still behind the tee line, but it's going to force this team from Ontario to have to make a good one here.
Looks like you don't necessarily mind just killing your own at the back, but picking it out would be good too. This rock straight. Oh, wow. Looks like it's going to over curl on them just slightly. Maybe more than slightly. That is a tough break for Scott Mitchell, who's been playing great thus far. And suddenly the complexion of the end changes dramatically. Schwaller still has one more, and then it skips stones.
Did it ever. That's the one you didn't want to hit, but it clearly took off on him, and there's a chance for them to sit 3 here, and the tide's looking good to get a crooked number on the scoreboard here after probably just doing the little short run on his own.
Yeah, short run of the red. We'll see where the shooter goes, especially. Unless they're going to draw up here. Yeah, that's the other call. Save that run for later. All right, let's all go back down and talk about it again.
Yes, yep. And we've all been there too.
Yeah. See Yannick just grab his hair and be like, "Oh yeah, right. Sorry." My bad. My bad. Yeah, I mean, it's I kind of like the Matt. I don't know what you think. I kind of like the top 8, or because then Sam will have to, I don't know, make a hit. I know that one in the top 12, you might be able to have some kind of run, or there might be a double. But at the same time, do you want to test him? Do you not? Because if you do attack the red rock, it's kind of hard to tell from the angle here. But if you look in the top right, that red rock is behind the tee line. So if you did make that little run, sure, you're going to be sitting 3, but at what cost?
Yeah,
Sorry,
I mean,
I'm rambling. Matt, what would you do?
Yeah, sitting 3 always feels good, but at this level, it doesn't mean you're going to score 3. There's a chance to get a double, get a hit and roll, and then all of a sudden it's all gone away again. You don't want to take your chance. You don't need to make a precise shot. And I do like the idea of trying to control the top of the house, like you said, and then seeing what happens. Because 2 is still very much in play. It's just a question of where in the top 8, where in the top of the house do you want this one to land. But it certainly makes a lot of sense from many perspectives.
Yeah, makes sense. Run up top there and see where you land. It's hard to really see I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that, Matt, but it's hard to tell when the players are at this level. A rock at the back 4 like that, where you're a tap away from just removing it. It's not necessarily the most dangerous rock out there.
Yeah, and I don't even think this rock needs to be buried all that much. You can just have it open, exposed, and you can use it you can run in if they draw runs. You can do a lot of purposes here.
Seeing an outside path here. Oh, now it's starting to cut. That's quite a bit of weight. Oh, just like stopped on a time. Okay, well, that's good. Kind of what they were looking at now for Sam Mooibroek. If you do go after this top 8, a couple ways you can miss it in a big way. And they're going to have their own little meeting here.
That's a pretty good result. You can't hit it. You can't hit it with any amount of weight because it's not. It's unlikely that a red will leave the house if you strike it hard.
I can see them already kind of talking about that one in the top 12, making that run. There's a big catch. Yeah, there's a big catch. That would be bad. But if you did get, I don't know. I mean, I already talked myself out of it. Just like Tuesday night skipping. You're like, no. But if you did make that, that's perfect. But depends how much weight they want to throw, of course, to try to get really in there or not.
Well, that yellow rock's not your friend right now anyway, so you might want to try it right now and at least clear that side up and give yourself a chance to maybe cut down the damage on your 8th rock anyways.
And looks like from the line, this will be significant weight. The other way you kind of played is maybe just sort of tap that yellow rock in that way. But all right, here comes Sam Mooibroek. A chance to throw a yellow rock into this little red triangle we have on the left-hand side of the house and try to mix things up here against the Swiss Giants. Can't beat that. We're making move. It's not. It looks like it might be red as the 3rd shot stone, but you'll have to take that if you are Sam Mooibroek. A nice solid run back there for sure.
Yes, definitely opened it up, gives him a lot more options for his last should he need it. Still a Schwaller end for sure.
Yeah, it's either higher or somewhat buried behind that guard. Because it is, you know, there is that yellow rock there just at the top of your screen. It's maybe just on the right side of the center line. It's either that or just slap one right on that red one, but Benoit Schwartz getting set. His first and a potential pivotal end for this team from Switzerland. Quarterfinal matchup here in Swift Current. Running on this path on the outside, you can just see it just holding kind of straight. If it's like that other stone, it'll die. Exactly like that. That is pretty good. Always a little stressful to just kind of leave it to the ice like that, but that's a pretty solid result here for Benoit Schwartz and co.
That is really good because I don't think you can get both of those with any amount of weight. One's either going to jam into the red or jam into the yellow, and they're first and second count. And that's, boy. Suddenly the end looks huge for Schwaller. I'm racking my brain to think about where you could put a rock to limit the damage at this point.
You set up that just so close together. Yeah, just try to bury it behind that yellow guard. It is a high one, but yeah, that might be it.
This is all or nothing here.
Right. Sam Mooibroek just calling for a little less ice. I'm speculating here, but maybe just thinking that.
Or is he playing like just like a board weight, try to freeze right on the nose of that red?
It's exactly what the U Sports champion is up to here on this shot. His final stone in the fourth end. Expression on his face says it all. It's kind of in no man's land, but it does come over. That won't be the desired outcome for sure. Because now you see Schwaller kind of taking a look around. Is there a shot for more than 3? I think that's what he's thinking. But that looks pretty nice right there, what he just gestured towards.
Yeah, I think to answer your question, there probably is, but it's harder than an easy shot for 3, which gives you control of the game. You probably certainly could sort of play the red-yellow, play the crotch. The back red probably drags into the yellow. It's probably there, and
yeah, I think I think it is there, eh? Like you just kind of throw one down there. Let's see what happens. Benoit Schwartz, a big final stone here in the fourth end. team from Switzerland down 3-1 after 3 ends, a chance to put up some serious points heading into the second half of this quarterfinal. Going in nice, big weights. And what a shot that is.
Wow.
Enough to push it around. And it looks like it's 4. This game just got turned on its head. We'll be right back for the 5th end.
I've got the bill.
Well, now I've got the tip.
Standard tip increased 2% this year.
That's why I keep you around. So, corn's looking great. Well, our crop plan is working.
And we locked in that input financing at the perfect time.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough? Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet. And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea? Great idea. Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
And welcome back to 5th end action here in Swift Currents. Team Yannick Schwaller. Lovely little 4 spot in the 4th end. To be up 5-3 going into the 5th. And Sam Mooibroek with lots of momentum in the first half of this game, Matt, as we were watching, but they played, certainly were outplaying the Swiss team by a considerable distance. I don't mind editorializing, but I guess just a tough break to give up that 4.
It was. It wasn't a particularly poorly played end by them. A couple bad breaks, a couple good angles, and it just sort of snowballed, really. And I think it also still goes back to that shot Benoit Schwartz had in the 3rd to cut the damage down to just giving up a steal of 1, because it certainly kept them in the game. Even if they would have gone down by more, that end probably would have looked a whole lot different. With all that being said, this looks like the first time Mooibroek's really been challenged or in trouble rather this weekend. And again, they're down 2 with a half of the game to go, and certainly within reach.
Winner of this game goes on to the semifinal tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. local time, Central Time. And the winner of Steve Laycock and Corey Dropkin Currently now, Corey Dropkins up 5-2. Put a 2 points up there in the fourth. Stole 2 points, actually, and stole one in the third as well. Playing quite well against the locals here. Steve Laycock's rink out of Swift Current.
All of us Americans are just watching, seeing if this is going to be Corey Dropkins' Olympic cycle. We've been saying that a couple times. Might be their chance.
And then Team Schuster just comes out and just keeps crushing it. And you're like,
Every
right,
single
right.
time. Every time. They could do it again this year too.
Absolutely. 100%. And a quick look at, obviously, that yellow rock is glued onto the red, but it might be tough to find that perfect angle. On the other side of the bracket, we have Schneider and Michael Bruner. Schneider's up 1-0 there through 3 ends. And then in the other quarterfinal, it's Nicholas Adine versus Mike McEwen. Adine up 3-2. Games in the fourth end, it looks like. Teams just traded a couple twos there. And those two teams will meet in the other men's semifinal. Championship happening tomorrow, 4 p.m. local time. Sweepers on this right away.
Going for just over. Ooh.
That's a tough break. You could see right away they went to the snowplow there and tried to drag that over. That's a tough break.
Missed that. Yeah, that missed considerably.
A golden opportunity here for Sam Mooibroek. Nathan Steele's final in this fifth end. Just want to get just a piece of it with this weight, and they will. It rolls just underneath the tee line. And once again, just like we saw in the first half of this game, Schwaller definitely with their tails up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good result. Not sure if they're out counting the red on the left. May not matter at this point, but you can't. I think the operative result is that Yellowstone in the 4-foot is not easy to get rid of, at least with one shot. And they're going to have to, again, come up with something to deal with it.
Again, just apologies on the score bug. The score is 5-3 after Yannick Schwaller put up a 4 in the fourth end. They took one to start the game, and then Sam Mooibroek responds with the 2, and then that steal in the 3rd when Benoit Schwartz had a really nice draw to come in and just couldn't quite bump that Yellow Rock back enough. And it's 5-3 here. Yannick Schwaller's first in the 5th end. Let's try to get in there and move things around, I guess, eh?
I think so. I think if they can just maybe tap it to the back of the house, we'll worry about it later. Real carve it in there. Get a little bit low on there, and oh, look at that.
It's a great shot, and it's a great sweep.
And look at the
This
roll
front end
they got.
Is incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, just the drive that Pablo gets is honestly something to behold in this sport.
Certainly makes a lot of shots, that's for sure. Doesn't save them, it makes them.
That's the power of positive thinking.
Yes.
Scott Mitchell with the draw in here. Looks a little daunting from that angle. From up above, you can see you can get right in between these 2 reds, and that's the goal. Maybe just shy. Glued right to the red. And now do you just beat them in there? Just come right in towards the button, or what other options do they have?
Yeah, as I was looking at, if you see those 3 reds, there might be a triple on them, and they were kind of looking at that. You saw one of it might have been Sven Michel, to say, hey, do we want to do anything with that? We're sitting so good in the house. Is another rock going to help us? What are they going to do, and how do we prevent that? Yeah, that last Mooibroek stone where it landed is largely unhelpful for them. So it's really just a matter of which shot do we not want him to play. They have that luxury with this setup.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you want to guess how much thinking time we've had through the first couple ends here?
I think they're glad that they're not keeping score or keeping time.
This is, I glanced down at the clock. I was like, oh yeah, we've been this game's been going along. It's definitely been very interesting. There's been a lot to think about.
To
Very,
say
you know,
2 hours is
the odd
plenty
big
for.
miss, but oh, sorry, what did you say? Sorry.
I was saying they always say 2 hours is enough for 8 ends. Boy, I haven't seen it once.
I've maybe only had like 3. I feel like that's our version of an 8-ender. It's like you gotta take a photo of it. Like we played 8 ends. Crazy. Gliding on them a little bit. Might be just past his broom, but otherwise in a good spot.
Well, that triple's still there. I think that is a very interesting call here.
Just as you see them in a line on your screen, right? Is that like
the 3 in a row? Yes.
Interesting.
I think it's there, and it's got a really good result if you make it.
The alternative is there is you just see Scott Mitchell just slap his broom on the ice. It's just to come right in there and see if you can draw, because I think that the draw is there. Like, it does curl enough, and you can put it in a place where, you know, anywhere underneath that yellow rock, and it's toast, right? It's in a really good spot. And that might be the group consensus for now, is just to try to make that.
And I think that's the more sensible call anyways. You know, you're down 2. I mean, yeah, you get one in the top of the house and it's not leaving for a while. That's way more simple shot here. There, but
we can all say that we liked your triple, Matt.
We would have all liked to have seen it. That's fair. That's all I wanted anyone to say.
So a little bit extra line, and just to see if you could plop one in here to the 4-foot, likely right on the lid. Likely as in it's certainly possible. Just put one right underneath. Keeping this rock straight, both sweepers on. You see Mitchell's reaction, just a hair light and maybe just a little bit inside as well. Rubs out, and now yellow has rocks just about everywhere, but they don't want them at this point. And Schwaller's opportunity here, well, what does he have? Certainly an opportunity to go on the attack.
Really is, yes. Yeah, they're in control here. Really, that whole left side of the yellow side. There is an opportunity. Perhaps that one rock they just threw might be promotable. Angle's not ideal, but it is there.
That was their first instinct there that Yannick had gestured towards. Was like, let's just whack that, just get it out of the way. You know, if you'd nose it or something. But yeah, there's a possibility if you're ever outside, maybe something bad happens, but I don't know. Just outside of earshot here on sheet 3, but you get an idea what they're looking at for sure. Benoit Schwartz lines up his first shot here in the 5th end.
Yeah, I think you throw a pretty just firm weight takeout here and make sure that keep your shooter right there. Take that side away, and then Mooibroek's got to figure out another way into the 4-foot.
I was going to say, wouldn't be surprised if the hit is just a little bit on the lighter side, just so that they're able to sweep it, and tolerance would be tighter, obviously. And it's holding out here. This is not good for Team Schwaller. You have to keep this rock. Oof, okay.
Ooh.
Crisis averted for sure. Just a few centimeters over, and that would have just sunk a yellow right in there. But didn't hit the tolerance, but still made the shot. So now Sam Mooibroek and his foursome with an opportunity to see how they can get a rock really into right there, right where he put his broom. It's hard to imagine you expanding the scoring area at this point. So just how do you get one in there?
I mean, that draw path might be there.
Oof, that'd be nice. If you could do that, that would be really nice.
It would be great. It would be great. Again, 2 rocks left. I think you've always got that feeling like you got to get in there right now. You've got 2 rocks.
You see that front end there, Colin Schnurr and Nathan Steele kind of eyeing up the options, and there's obviously there's that yellow one up there. It's there.
Yeah. Again, people who do not have to throw those stones coming up with options.
Will not stand for this front end slander tonight. It's too late for that. It's too late for that, Matt. Get out of here. Come on. I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. So yeah, so I guess is the play to slash off that red one a little bit, or like maybe kind of get lucky, like the red in the top 12, and just see if you can kind of just, I don't know, just get lucky. Otherwise, what do you do?
Well, I think you want to realize scoring 1 point is probably your best result, and it might be worth clearing it up a little bit. I don't think that's what they're thinking right now. I think they're thinking of a way to get in there right now. You keep talking about that red yellow on the right. I don't know what that looks like, what they're doing. What's the thought here? Is it just kind of like a chip and roll?
I think so. This is yeah, I mean, this is a bit of old school curling, like just playing on the worst ice you can imagine and just trying to make something work. But it kind of makes sense, because I think they're seeing that the tolerance is that you could miss this shot a couple different ways that could really work. Like even if you just slice it and you hit that yellow rock, maybe now you have 2 rocks at the top, of the, or you just missed it and you're able to get right down there.
All right, let's find out.
A little tight. You don't want to hit this too thick. And yeah, I mean, not the worst result there, pushing that rock and unlocking that corner freeze, but obviously Team Schwaller and Benoit Schwartz have another opportunity to potentially get another one in here and maybe even sit 3. Put the pressure back on Sam Mooibroek. Lots of, I have to say, just in the terms of skip stones in this game, it has been a fantastic play by the team without hammer. We've had a couple of these that have just been really piling the pressure on and setting up some exciting skip stone opportunities.
Absolutely. Each end just completely different here. You've seen a lot of games, go blank, blank, blank. You're not seeing that here tonight for sure. You're seeing a lot of angles, a lot of thinking, as you've been saying, a lot of thinking time being burned, which is not being counted officially.
But who's counting, I think, is what we're supposed to say.
Exactly. We have nowhere to be.
The play here from Benoit Schwartz, his final stone in the 5th end. His team's up 5-3. Big sweep to see if you can get as much of this yellow rock as you can and just roll down. And that is just lovely for Benoit Schwartz. You cannot beat that. And now Sam Mooibroek has to, more than likely, as he's already eyeing up, just tap that yellow rock by tapping a red first.
Yeah, you're not going to see anything of it. It's completely behind. With that ice, that looks like they're playing the run.
Yeah, you just need to, the key is just on those back rocks to just get a thick part of it. So likely for Scott Mitchell here in the house, it's, it's either kind of a just off nose, or if it is outside, maybe you can kind of bail out.
You can't hit first shot stone first, or this thing's going to sail out the side.
Okay, final stone. Chance to carve this rock over. You've got to get close to nose. It looked pretty good. What has he got?
Oh.
He's got an absolute pistol. Sam Mooibroek. You cannot beat that. 1 point on the board. We'll be right back for a 6th end. What a game thus far.
your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
SwiftCurrent is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Well, Sam Mooibroek very much kept his team's playoff hopes alive here with that beautiful run back. Getting that point and moving on here. Now into the sixth end. They're up against it though with Schwaller. Obviously the hammer this end and potentially in the eighth as well. And the odd number events here in Swift Current.
Marty, you alluded to it earlier. We're getting kind of spoiled here with so many wonderful shots at the end. And I think that one just raised the bar a little bit more. I think we're going to get disappointed if this ends up being a very simple end either way.
Judging by the duration of this game, you could say it has not been a simple game thus far. I don't think we've had any simple ends now that I think about it. We'll see. We'll see how this shapes up.
Well, as we see here, Mooibroek's already got two centers up. You know they have to steal. They're going to have to steal at some point here. Like you mentioned, they're only going to have one more hammer. Likely. Going to generate something.
Colin Schnurr's final. In this sixth end. Scores 5-4. Apologies, that was Nathan Steele who delivered that stone. Quick check in on the other quarterfinal impacting this one immediately as Corey Dropkin's up 5-3. Steve Laycock scored 1 in the 5th, and Dropkin with the hammer in the 6th. The Young Bucks look to make the semifinal. Oh, we've all been there. Yannick Schwaller attacking a friendlier side of the sheet. Potential to tap up, but looks like he's maybe just shy. Michelle is. Just a slight tap, but like this call from Sam, if you are outside and just kind of chisel that rock sideways, you get it. Now we sort of have that top-down view in the top right hand corner of your screen. If you could get lucky, you might just kind of launch it underneath and have a staggered set of red rocks. And as you said, Matt, you know, the steel's on at that point. Carving over for peace. Looks like maybe more weight that they wanted to throw. Slightly exposed, but it's in the forefoot.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Sure, they're going to just be looking at removing yellow rocks here. I don't think they can get both, but they can certainly get one, and they can get more than one if they do the run.
Some big weight incoming here. Sven Michel. And make some yellow go away. Not one of the forefoot's still there, though.
Yeah, hard to steal with no guards. They wouldn't hate a blank. They still have one, but we got rid of one in the center.
Yeah, it's not necessarily what they want to do here, Team Mooibroek. It's more about what they are anticipating Schwaller will do next with his first, because obviously how the rocks are set up here, you have a nice angle for red on that top one there. Maybe try to take that away. Slide that red one to the side, but I guess it's there. I guess you can get around. That red should be just on the center line, it looks like. Scott Mitchell eyes up his shot. Looks like trying to get around and get to as much of that red rock on the left-hand side as you can. Now that ice is indicating maybe going to throw a little bit of weight at this.
Thought I may have seen a nonverbal sign for hack, but I could have just been pretending or imagining that.
Somebody tapped to their ankle, and you're like, that must be hack.
Yeah, it's exactly. There's no other reason anyone would touch their own foot.
Exactly. Okay, we'll trust you on that one, Matt. That's definitely hack weight. It looks like hack weight too. Little tight. Tell how strong this front end is, though. They're going to hold it up for him. I think that's the exact desired outcome, but what do you do here if you're Yannick Schwaller.
Yeah, I mean, standard double on the left. You can also peel the guard, run in the guard. It's really a question of what do you hit.
Yeah, good point. Lining up for the double. Yannick Schwaller skip, but throws third stones. You're looking for just off nose. And they hit just nose.
The half miss they needed if they're looking to steal.
The only other shot, if you wanted to be really cheeky, would be almost to like kind of corner freeze on the red one on the left side. Like imagine if you came in and sort of did an inverse of the corner freeze that they have there. But then red Yannick would probably just draw. But then you still have that. So maybe I don't know. That would have to be pretty precise, but I think that might be your best way to actually protect that yellow rock. And, just trust that Sam has been throwing lights out today. He'll come up with something to free up some room in the forefoot, I'm sure, on his last stone.
Well, I personally am just glad the whole team is down there talking about it.
Where's that front end slander now? They're invited to the party. They're allowed to come hang out. They're allowed to do this thing for a little bit. And they're like, all right, now you got to go. You got to get out of here.
No, I like that. I think you're still, if you're Mooibroek, you're still in an okay situation. There's a lot of red in play, but it's kind of helping you. And you kind of want to build off that. Definitely feels like that make or break end either way. Like it's going such a way that, Schwaller could come down and suddenly score 3 and then that's ball game. But I think this is your best chance to steal at this point, and you gotta find a spot that's gonna make it hard to remove 2 yellows.
That's a great point, Matt. It's a little bit of pedal to the metal for sure. It's funny, even with the red rocks, like where they are, you're right, it is still very advantageous. So I think, they are looking at that to play on this side. Corner freeze, or maybe even just move that red down slightly. And you can kind of see on the top right of your screen how it did appear that red rock at the top 8 was a little bit like flatter to the yellows, but it's actually pretty advanced. So maybe with this ice, maybe board or something, and just tap that back, or just get to the inside perhaps. One thing you didn't see on the top right of your screen was that guard that's pretty much right at the hog line. Great sweep on the inside, but it does wreck.
Oh.
Tough break. Scott Mitchell had one of the first couple ends were just some magnificent shots, but that was just a tough break. Inside again, might be something on his release, but that's difficult. And now a couple ways you can make this really good. I'm not sure what you're seeing right away, Matt, but there's plenty of options. You can just get rid of that yellow right away and get a nice roll.
Yeah, they're obviously, yes, they're discussing it, but I think the discussion is how do you want to get rid of it? You could hit it and sit 4 for sure, but then you're sitting 4 kind of all jumbled up, and then there's a lot of places that again you could put in a really good freeze. You probably just want to hit this really hard, super hard, go ahead and lose a red, maybe even roll your shooter. You just don't want that house so congested at this point.
Yeah, a little bit more line is, if your nose, that's great.
Yeah.
Like if you
yeah,
have
those-
one that's like sitting like top, I think that's maybe why they just gave a little bit of line just to make sure that tolerance would be on that side of the rock for sure. And leave it to your sweepers. When you have a sweeper like Pablo, you need to, but this is curling like crazy. Did get it, and they did move some stuff around. So an exposed 4-foot and a few red rocks to play with here. Sam Mooibroek. Now do you bail? What's the play? They're going to play off that red rock and potentially double.
You're in it now. You kind of have to play for the point, play for the steal. Looks like they're playing a hit roll here. Perhaps.
Okay, so this hit playing inside out as well. How much red granite can you get moving is the question for the team from Whitby.
Double and stick under the guard would be really nice.
Hard to keep it straight. What do you got? A jam, and it moves up to be 3rd shot stone and exposed. And you can just see how daunting it would look for Mooibroek looking down from this angle. You see on the left-hand side to see yellow, red, red with that red rock specifically in the top 4 really nicely buried.
Yeah, that spin, that spin out, I think, was just brutal. It looks a little bit better. Actually looks better for Schwaller, because now the house is relatively simple. You sit in 2. Would you ever just peel the guard?
Yeah, maybe. Spoiled for choice if you're talking about that with your first skip stone. But yeah, no, it depends if they want to try to ice this. If you do that, like off the yellow or something, and then I guess you give Sam the chance to draw in behind, but I feel like their conversation is much more productive than ours, Matt, just because there's 4 of them. There's only 2 of us. Not for any other reason I could possibly imagine.
I intimated as much.
So draw on this side and just maybe I saw Schwartz to sort of put the broom there on the edge of the 4. Maybe try to make them flat as possible because you're anticipating a double. Maybe try to make him make the double. If he misses, you score 3. Pretty good odds, especially if you can make this shot really nice.
Yeah, I really like that.
Drawing on a wider path. It's running on them, actually. I didn't anticipate that, but as long as that sort of sticks around, and it will not be the worst case scenario, and it doesn't really change. It obviously takes the hit away for Sam, but still, again, you called it there, Matt, I think at the start of this end or the start of the last one, just some incredible ends by the teams that do not have the hammer. Now here's Sam is in a position where it's kind of the opposite, but he will be drawing or hitting against 3 to try to keep this game going. Honestly, if he can make it move, they've got life. But this has to be pretty good.
Yeah, he's got. I'm not really sure where he can go and hide. Again, that shot stone, if memory serves me right, is in front of the tee line. And even if you can get around it somehow, your thrown rock is going to be exposed. There just is not a really good place to hide at all. It seems that they've made a call.
I tried. I think it's kind of a, put it in there, see as much as you can get. If with the tolerance, I guess it's another chisel shot from Mooibroek, maybe chisel off that yellow. We'll see. Final stone here for Sam Mooibroek. Really in the thick of it here in this 6th end. We'll need something good. They're tight. They're going to play maybe just to miss this yellow rock. Hard carve. What do you got? Well, they had room. They made it work. And they are shots
not
gone.
Bad. Not bad.
And you can see how awkward that looks from the top angle. Yeah, that's a good view there. How those yellows are. You can't just easily bang, bang, double them. So.
Yeah, you have to play off both, really. I don't think you can go straight at shot stone. You run the risk of wrecking on the top one. You have to play the double. But it is a relatively simple double.
So Schwartz throwing a hit relatively wide, just out around the 8-foot line with his final stone here in the 6th end for a chance to score another big end in this quarterfinal. Big weight incoming. Pablo on the inside. Got to keep this straight.
Ooh.
And that'll be good enough for 2 for red. We'll head in to the 7th end.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough? Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet. And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea? Great idea. Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Just past 11 p.m. local time here in Swift Current. Quarterfinal action. Yannick Schwaller up 7-4 heading into the 7th. Tough spot for Sam Mooibroek. Matt, see what he can pull out here, I guess, in this end.
Yeah, they a little bit fortunate to only give up 2. Bit of a jam by Benoit Schwartz to still score the big 2. And you're still in it, really. You can come back and get a 2 of your own, and then you're stealing. It's a reasonable path to stay in this game. And they just gotta focus and just get right back in the game here.
Small bump off that 3. It's up top 12. We mentioned Mooibroek with those 3 wins in this triple knockout and going all the way through. Different story for Yannick Schwaller. They beat Calvert 5-3, lost to, as you mentioned earlier, Mooibroek 6-2. Beat Kevin Cooey 8-4, lost to Mike McEwen 10-6. That would have been a good game. And beat Kleider to get back up into the quarterfinal. It's pretty easy to, in tournaments like this, to end up playing double the amount of double the amount of games. Apologies, as the other team. Speaking of rocks, that very rare to see 2 hogged rocks at this level of play. Tough break for both teams now at this point to have one of those, but yeah, that'll certainly be one that they wish they could have back.
That's a big one there. I don't know if the ice on Saturday night, something funny's happening to it, but all the same.
Yeah, curious if they're finding it light. But at the same time, with especially, Mooibroek sweepers are fantastic as well, like Kushner and Steele. But, to obviously have that front end, specifically the lead in Paolo, that for Switzerland, they can really generate, tons of friction. So definitely a shock to have a hogged rock. It's something that they don't have as often as your Tuesday night mixed league might, but this path again, just holding out just a little wide on them, but a nice carve to bring it in.
Yeah, nice angles too.
Yes, to peel away the yellow here for Sven Michel. And down goes one. Then a quick look around in the men's side of the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown. Corey Dropkin up 7-3. Go to 2 points in the 6th. Take the lead there going into the 7th. Schneider's up, rather, my apologies. Bruner's up on Schneider 3-2 going into the 8th. And then in the other game, Nicholas Sedin up 5-3 on Mike McEwen. Solid tap up from Team Mooibroek. Puts that promoted Yellowstone in a difficult position.
Yeah, impressive looking. think that the call is still to find a yellow and remove it. Not as simple, though, as the last time.
Sorry, Matt, did I hear you say that you really liked the 4-person in the house meeting? Is that what I heard, or did I misinterpret
Yeah,
that?
well, as a Detroit Tigers fan, great Ernie Harwell, if he were around, he'd say they're having a confab in the house.
Appreciate the extra use of the accent there. That was great. I really made that stick out. Schwaller with a chance here to potentially remove both yellows, kind of just off nose, and see how it rides along this right of center line side, or just the rip. Sorry, I thought he was maybe going to go for both. Not the desired outcome, but maybe they were trying for both there. It just looked a little wide. I guess they're maybe stuck in between two there.
And the other good news is it does unlock it, so now it's accessible. And it's going to be difficult. At this point now, he's got to find where he might just be straight guarding it, because I don't know where else you can go at this point in the end and not leave a double.
It looks like that's the call. So Mitchell's called to throw a center guard up. Like 2 or 3, somewhere in there. And great line call, great weight as well. Pretty good spot. You try to go after it, there's the risk of the jam, so. We're trying to get either or, and did remove some yellow. The reigning bronze medalist of the World Championships here. Going with his stones for the 7th end. Throws one more, and then it skips stones. Another center guard, I guess, and see if Mooibroek can turn something out.
Gonna carve this guard over.
Got stuck outside. It's just going to be quite a bit tighter. And it looks friendly if they're feeling cheeky. The double's there, like to try to run both the yellows and truly ice it, or you just come on that side and try to get as much of the yellow that you can see. Benoit Schwartz settles into the hack. First 2 in the 7th end. And just going to rip out that yellow stone. Any ideas here for Team Mooibroek, Matt? Other than what we're pretty sure they're going to throw, just that center line?
Well, you've got 2 left. This might be your opportunity to see if you can find a place where you can't get 2. My first thought is if you can just nose the back red, then the 2 yellow rocks are more or less at a 45-degree angle, and that double is not easy.
That's a good point. Yeah, that could be really nice.
But, with you got hammer, you could certainly just guard this again, and then they have to, again, make a play, and then leave that for your last. You don't have to do that yet.
And Mooibroek's first in the 7th end. Looks like it's catching that inside path. Not going to hold out as much as that last one did. I say the line's good. Just want a biter. And we'll get a little bit more paint than they wanted to. And that might be enough to tempt them into the double proper. Yeah, not too far at all. But if you do play safe, that's fine too.
In these last couple ends, it seems that a lot of the upweight shots, they have been missing wide.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, they have. Big weight incoming here. On sheet 3 in Swift Current. That's the jam. I guess we've got a game here.
You said something about possibly getting a simple end one of these times. I think we found it here. That was simply get a stone in there and guard it a bunch of times and draw for 2.
Matt and I have just been confused. We're like, isn't there usually like 9 rocks in play you should consider, none of which you'd actually ever mess with,
I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, certainly no blanks in this one. Final stone here for Mooibroek. Sink one in there, get your 2, and head to the 8 with a sliver of a chance, but still a chance.
Not touching it.
Hair heavy, it will catch the curl just when it enters the 4-foot. Perfect time to slam on the brakes. That's 7-6 for Schwaller. They have the hammer. We'll be right back for the 8.
I've been farming on my own right for 40 years now, I think. It's a very wholesome enterprise. You have very, very busy periods when you have to go hard. So many of our windows are so tight that you just can't afford to miss a couple days seeding.
when a producer places their trust in us, that when it's time for them to be able to make their living, we're going to be there. That's a tremendous responsibility that is not a one-day-a-year thing, right? In order to actually deliver on that, you have to build your processes and you have to build your team and you have to have a mindset of operational excellence, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And it's our job to make sure that they don't go wrong. Or if they do go wrong, that we can fix it before it affects our customer.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
Welcome back to the 8th end of Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown quarterfinal between Yannick Schwaller and Mooibroek here. Schwaller up 7-6 with the hammer. Glimmer of hope here for Sam, but where there's a will, there's a way. We had Felix asking on a previous draw, just talking about the analytics. Obviously, if being in this position, especially against a top team, of course, it's very slim, but you got to play the game. You got to see where you land. And these two guards up the middle of the ice, especially with how the ice is played thus far, Matt, it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that they could get something.
Yeah, I mean, the shots haven't been as sharp in the second half as it has been in the first. And, when you're down one and you don't have hammer, your goal is really just to make the other team throw their last rock because, anything can happen.
Especially with a rock like this red one here. Now this one's outside as well. You can see the frustration there. Not the first time they've been caught on the outside of these stones. Maybe just a touch heavy too. Maybe that's why it didn't quite catch the curl, but tucked the red one behind cover, sadly. And now, yeah, there's a chance just to kind of start ripping these. Big weight incoming. Double, maybe triple on offer. Double at his. Looks like they got caught on a similar path again, but this one will curl a little bit at the end. Small chisel, but it will sit in a pretty decent spot.
Yeah, much better results. Again, yeah, it's probably like you said, the weight was brought back down a little bit, and they got that curl there at the end.
Yeah, now it's stick or twist a little bit. You can kind of tell from the overhead it's yellow's pretty much glued onto red there, at least at the last look I had at it. So what's the play? Just try to lodge one in here and see where it goes. You're only on your second. You've got quite a bit left.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, it's whatever you're feeling. I don't think you can handle the yellow undercover. Again, you've got a center guard that's not your friend. You can try to push that back, drive it back. Might be actually just trying to get it right around it with this weight, with this broom rather.
Yeah, I was looking at that guard too. It's not it's pretty high, but that'd be an all right shot too. They were talking, looked like he was maybe gesturing between inside out and not, but not sure exactly the disagreement is, but regardless, the broom is down and the shot is made here. Sven Michel, chance to try to bring this one right in, throw it to your sweepers here. That shot specifically is able to come in. That's a really nice play. And got both pieces of granite at the same time. Lovely shot.
That's great. Now, big juicy pocket right there. They can still use it.
Yeah. Looks like they might want that, just like that, a slight tap. I guess they've seen this line a couple times, just like play it. And maybe if it's the same sort of weight we saw on that rock that's sort of held out there, maybe you can just kind of steer it in.
It's going to be about the weight here.
Steel will be ready to carve it. Maybe should have carved it a hair earlier here, because just the weight was up on it. But yeah, that's tough. I mean, I'm not sure if the call was that much weight.
That was a lot for what they needed, for sure.
And just speculating, but if that was even like a back 4, back 8, you have a catcher there. But here it's, I mean, obviously you're in good shape. We have 2 in the 4-foot, but there's still that chance if you just throw something solid at this yellow one just to sort of kick it out if you hit nose. Matt, they say take the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought. You started first.
I was just gonna do a bit. So, you should actually do a real piece of analysis.
I had a thing. Okay. Well, I love bits. Don't get me wrong, but I was just gonna say, with all the discussion happening here and knowing the order of who throws here. Obviously, Yannick is the skip, but he doesn't throw last, and then you've got Sven, who's also a former skip, and sometimes it's just hard to kind of shut down the conversation, say, okay, guys, let's just make a call here and let's do it. There's a lot of deliberation, and it certainly slows things down and gets in your head. Sometimes you overthink, but I mean, they're number 5 in the world, so it seems to be working for them.
Yeah, it's always a difficult balance, and each individual human being has a different sort of answer to that question. But yeah, as you mentioned, if they're top 5, then they don't mind a little bit of talking. All right, got to play this pretty tight, obviously. Pablo pushing this one out and then having to double back here, trying to carve it. See how high he gets that sort of, that left leg. Really nice structure, really nice sweep. We'll take that. All I was going to say, Matt, was, you know, they always want to take the talking out of curling. You know, they want to make it a quicker game. I say more talking. Let's make 4-hour games. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
You know, it's interesting. You know, you can watch a long movie and then it's over and you say, oh my God, that just went by so fast. As long as you're enjoying yourself, you can have something go as long as you want.
That's a great analogy.
We're having fun here on a Saturday night. I don't care how much they're talking. We can entertain ourselves too.
We've had a lot of help. Like, this game has been pretty good in terms of, yeah, like obviously those last shots, but it was funny when we were that conversation about, you know, having conversation in the house. That was like that was like before the, you know, that was like first third stones, right? Like, this is like, you know, the there's been a lot to discuss. And I'd be curious to ask these two teams about the ice conditions too, because it's, you know, obviously it's hard to tell here, but there definitely feels to be a few little runs and a few little, like, you know, obviously we had the Hog Rock. Like, there's a few little nooks and crannies about the ice that I think they're also considering and deliberating about too.
Yeah.
That's a really nice draw here. Scott Mitchell just sinking one in. Now Yannick Schwaller with his last to the end.
Can you get both? You think you can easily get both. Certainly touching both. As evidenced by the non-conversation.
That's a great point. Sometimes when they don't talk about it, yeah, you're gonna get there. You know the answer. You know the answer. All right, Skip Yannick Schwaller, his final stone here in this 8th end. Chance to carve it over. You can really slice this yellow rock, and they will. That is a beauty shot. Great weight, as you can see how much that cooked that sideways. Beautiful delivery, and really where you see that red rock, that's the key, where the shooter is. Very difficult place now for Sam Mooibroek to have to navigate, because he really has to come on that side, Matt.
Yeah, outstanding shot, outstanding result. You've got the entire 4 foot surrounded, you're in control, and not a whole lot of choice here other than to try to chase him that way. And maybe, again, there's just not a whole lot of places this yellow rock can hide. It can be knocked out the other side, and he's got to go for it.
Sam Mooibroek's first of 2 here in the 8th end of this quarterfinal on the men's side. Fantastic start to the game. Gave up that 4 in the 4th end. Got the 2 and 6, but really needs something to go their way here in this 8th end. Thoughts on that one, Matt? I mean, it's not the worst case scenario if Schwartz just kind of picked that one out. It does leave a draw to be corner frozen on that red.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's always got that with those rocks in the back of the house. He always is going to have something to try to latch on to for his last. And the house does look better now for him. But again, it's looking like in the end this is going to be Benoit Schwartz has to be thinking about not only this shot, but the next one is likely just going to be a draw to the 4 somewhere, probably with backing, but he needs to clear this one out somehow first. And I think the discussion here is probably less what to do with this shot, but more what's going to happen with the next.
Yeah, because you definitely need to, to remove this yellow rock. If you want it removed, you do need to throw a little bit of weight, just enough to get it out to that 8 foot. And when you do that, you're just how they're angled, you're going to have to give them a little bit of an opening there. So I think it's the draw to try to make that tap more difficult, which is, it's probably the right call. It appears that's kind of what Benoit's calling for, is just that, like, let's just throw a draw up, make him try that tap, like a real high tap. Because the draw on the other side is gross. So just guard it.
Well, it's counterintuitive to what you trained for, but it does make sense. And I do like it. Again, make him make that tap. He's Sam does need to make a shot. And it comes down to what you're comfortable doing here.
And you saw Benoit even lining up that other yellow rock, that angle, right away, just sort of seeing that as a potential alternative. But if he can make this shot hard, Sam might just have to go for it. Looking for that 1 or 2 guard, but this one is really out there right now. Able to bring that back, and it sits in a pretty nice spot.
That does the trick for sure.
Had to forfeit a foot or 2 of height just to make sure it was covering that stone. Looks like they're considering if yellow is second shot. Is that what they're doing? Must be. Of course, always hard to tell from home. Maybe they're... I see. So the play is to throw a hit at this red stone that they can see, likely half a rock, 3/4 of a rock, do you think, Matt, maybe? To try to just run that back and just see if you can't clear him out.
Yeah, you can do that. You got to get right by your yellow as well. Really good result, though, if you can do it.
Why not?
Why not?
Okay, final stone for Sam Mooibroek here in the 8th end. Can he make some magic happen? They played great this game. Had a couple ups and downs, but played great this event as well. Seem to like the line. Keep it straight. Just past the guard.
Oh.
And it was almost too tight to that guard. So a great game, honestly, between Yannick Schwaller and Mooibroek. This was an incredible one to call. Matt, any final thoughts on how this game transpired? And obviously Yannick Schwaller moving on to the semifinal.
I think it really comes down to you score 4 in an end, and the game changed dramatically. Great weekend for Mooibroek for getting this far, but it's over, and Schwaller moves on.
All right, with that, we'll sign off for the night. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown quarterfinal. My name is Marty Thompson. He's Matt Sussman. We'll be back tomorrow morning.
We feed the world with Nutrien, and a large portion of what our job is to get fertilizer out with the carriers so they can get directed to the farms or to the different retail locations. We know that if we don't have the answer to something, we're not afraid to reach out because we have support from everyone. We've got a really good team behind us.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.